Good evening. As Shelly said, I'm Lawrence. Been judging and JAing FTC and FRC for a number of years, and this year I have the lucky honor and distinction, hopefully not infamy, of being one of the co-lead JAs. So we're excited to get the season underway. It'll be here before you know it, or I guess the competition season. The season's already underway.
And I'm Cheyenne. I've been a judge in JA for a while, but I actually started as a student, so I've done FTC just like the rest of you. So yep, somehow Shelly talked me into doing lead judge advisor this year, and I'm very excited to help you guys navigate this season.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Cheyenne and Lawrence, oops, sorry. We're glad that you're doing this. So we'll want to mute whenever we're not doing the talking, just to make sure we don't get that feedback. So if your computer is not muted, if you would make sure that it is, unless you're doing the talking. Everyone logged in under FIRST Chesapeake has hosting abilities, so you should be able to share your screen. We are being recorded. There will be time for questions at the end. I will monitor chat, and I will let Laurence and Cheyenne know if a question comes up around a topic and we need to pause. But we won't expect them to pause and answer questions simultaneously, just because we want to be mindful of time as well. All right, I'm done. You guys get started.
Okay. So just to start, this is our season schedule. I myself will be at the Richmond qualifier, the Powhatan qualifier, and champs. Laurence will be
Alexandria and probably some others.
So just to start, we know that FIRST is more than robots. So the judged awards are determined by a group of volunteers that Shelly works so hard to gather for us for the season. The people responsible for the award process are the judge and the judge advisors. So your judges are who you guys meet with, and they learn about your journeys and the accomplishments you've made for the season. They interact with you through the morning interview process and in the pits, as well as on the field and wherever else they can find you. As a group, the judges will determine, based on the information you give them, what teams receive what awards. Now, as judge advisors, our job is strictly just to guide them in the process. So we are not deciding what teams get what awards. We are just there to help make the process go as smoothly as possible while making sure that all the guidelines are being followed. So for your judging overview, the judges will gather information from the teams through several different pathways. You start the mornings with your structured team interviews. You guys have portfolios, and there's pit interviews, as well as event volunteer feedback. So starting with the structured team interviews, all teams are encouraged to prepare for structured interviews, which is an oral presentation made to a small panel of judges, no smaller than 2, which is followed by a Q&A session. The team interviews are conducted in the mornings of competition and conclude before opening ceremonies. So the way it goes is you teams arrive to the assigned judging rooms. You are given your judging times in advance of the event. Teams are given 5 minutes to present uninterrupted. That means you guys are going to give as much information as you can within 5 minutes without the judges asking questions or interrupting your interview. The last 5 minutes of your interview are for judges to ask questions. You may find that if you go over the 5 minutes, the judges may interrupt you and say, "Hey, hello, we've only got 5 minutes left with you. We'd like to ask some questions." After judging is complete, teams will exit the interview rooms. And from that point, judges have 10 minutes to discuss the interview, review your portfolios, and complete your feedback forms. And then judges welcome on the next team, and we'll just go on until we're done. To be considered for any judged awards, a team must attend a structured interview. So for teams attending the structured interview, you should come prepared by having no less than 2 student representatives for teams or 2 of more, a printed copy of the team portfolio, which is optional, and demonstration items, which can include your robot, which is encouraged, or you could have a display board. Don't really, like anything PowerPoint. I wouldn't suggest that. Remember, you only have 5 minutes, and it's from the moment you walk in the room. So some optional additions, you can have a silent observer, and this is an adult who can be in the room for support. They are positioned behind the team or away from the team so that they can't interact with you during the presentation. They also shouldn't be speaking during the presentation. I know something that I think is new this year is that photos, videos, and audio recordings are allowed. So that should be fun. But and then you can also have a support person to fill accommodations as needed, and that's a translator or sign language interpreter. But you have to request that in advance of the competition dates.
And just to be clear, that's no recording, photos, videos, etc. by the judges is allowed in addition to by the team. So neither party is allowed to make any sort of records of what is happening within the morning interviews.
So again, when the judges are done talking to teams, they are responsible for filling out feedback forms. They complete these forms immediately following the interview based on their initial impression of the team. This form is not used during deliberation and does not include any updated feedback based on later interactions with the judges. So what you guys experience with the judges in that 10 minutes is all that they're giving the feedback based off of. Feedback forms are returned at the end of the event, where they are usually put back in the notebook or returned to pit admin. They'll make their way back to you somehow. So for portfolios, teams have the opportunity to submit a team portfolio to be used as part of the judging process. No other printed or digital content not directly included in your portfolio will be collected by the judges to consider during deliberations. And typically, teams, you bring in little flyers or other little things. This year, the judges are being encouraged to just go based off the portfolio, and that is the first 15 pages of your book. So to qualify, your team portfolios must have a cover page, which includes the team number. It can also have your team name, table of contents, your team organization, sponsors, logos, pictures, whatever. But the most important thing is that your team number has to be on the cover of the notebook. If we can't put a notebook with a team, then it just doesn't qualify. Again, there's no more than 15 pages of judge content. If printed front and back, that's 8 sheets, including the cover pages. Your portfolios should use US letter or A4 size paper. If you're submitting it digitally, the complete submission must be less than 15 megabytes in size and must only include progress, challenges, and accomplishments made since January 1st of 2025. Portfolios should be submitted on time as requested. I believe this year they're asking the teams to just take their portfolio straight with you to the judging room instead of turning them into pit admin as you have in the past. Some additional notes on the portfolios. None of the content of the cover page will be used by judges to evaluate any awards, and anything beyond the 15 pages will not be reviewed at all. You're encouraged to limit PII in the portfolio just because a lot of hands are on this. They get lost sometimes. We just want to make sure it's very minimal. You can have first names, last initials, some team autobiographies. I know sometimes y'all do that. Photographs are fine as well. Judges will not open, view, or use any included links to other documents, websites, or videos referenced in the portfolio. They may read additional information during pit interviews, but will not bring that information back to the judging deliberation room. You can use AI to help do your notebooks, but you have to make sure that you are crediting AI if you do so. It is important to note that for some awards, submitting a portfolio is also a requirement. Now, in the past, pretty much all awards used to require it, but it's very limited this year. But those are the big awards, so you want to consider submitting your portfolio.
And just so everyone's clear, the awards that utilize the portfolio are Inspire, Think, and Control. So if you want to be considered for those 3 awards, you have to submit a portfolio. If you are unconcerned about that aspect of things, then you can bring a portfolio if you choose or not.
And it doesn't have to be the world's best looking portfolio either. As long as you submit something that has enough information for the judges to gauge, it counts.
Yes, the content is much more important than the structure, design, and overall attractiveness of the portfolio, other than considering, some extra points on the Think Award.
Yes. So for pit interviews, after we have finished morning interviews, the judges will compare notes and follow up with teams in the pit area during the competition to conduct informal interviews. During these interviews, you have the opportunity to expand upon materials you presented in the morning interviews, as well as share any additional content that you may have forgotten to share. You ran out of time. You can share prototypes, design artifacts, and photos and letters from outreach events. This is your time to give all the information that you can possibly give. A team doesn't need to prepare another presentation for pit interviews, but should be able to answer questions that the judges have. Adult mentors and parents should refrain from speaking on behalf of the students. If your students aren't available when the judges come by, they will make another attempt at a later time. They may make several attempts. Sometimes they come look for you at the practice field. They'll come look for you in line for judging. They will make a very strong effort to come find you. If after several attempts are made and the judges still cannot connect with you, FIRST Chesapeake is nice enough to leave cards that teams can request a specific time to speak with the judges. The card is turned into pit admin and handed over to the judges, and we will work from there. In addition to the information gathered by judges and students, judges seek feedback from referees, FTAs, scorekeepers, interview and match cuers, robot inspectors, and pit admin. This is really helpful, especially when we're coming down to who gets it over another. You want to make sure that you have positive feedback throughout the event, because gracious professionalism. All right, so now to go over the important part, the award overview. The number of awards given scales with event size. The total number of award given is based on the number of teams checked in at the event. So that's not the amount of teams that sign up, that's the amount of teams that show up. Not all awards are given at every competition. Only awards specified in the table are points eligible for advancement. So here's your list of all the judges' awards. That's Inspire, Think, Connect, Reach, and Sustain. Reach and Sustain are new this year. They are replacing the Motivate Award. Then the Design Award, Innovate Award, Control Award, and the Judge's Choice Award. So for a couple of award updates that you will be seeing this season, for each advancing teams will be ranked based on the advancement points they earn through their overall performance in that individual category. The top ranked teams not only advance to qualify for the next event, but all that is total is allocated to advancement spots. So the Team Judges Awards, you get 60 points for the Inspire Award, first place, 30 points for Inspire second, 15 points for Inspire third, and then all other awards are on the same playing level field this year. So you get 12 points for a first place award, 6 points for a second place award, and 3 points for a third place award. The points earned for teams award in the system are not intended to capture the full value of the awards to the team winning the award, or to represent the full value of awards to FIRST. In many ways, the team's experience in being selected for awards, especially the Inspire Award, is beyond measure and could not be fully captured in its entirety by any point-based system. So, not to say that one award is more important than the other. We know that the Inspire Award obviously is the highest award that you can receive, but all awards are pretty equal this year.
And so, just so everybody understands, this is a pretty significant change from the past. We didn't use these types of rank points in the past. And so really what FIRST is attempting to do here is to make Inspire the #1 award, which we all, for those who've been in this for a minute, know that that has always been the highest award in terms of what is given out. And all other judged awards who are the first place winners have equivalent points across the board. So if you are a judge's choice or a, well, we don't have motivate anymore, sense, sustain or reach or connect, all of those are equivalent now in terms of ranking points, which is very different in the past, because in the past there was a list in that competition manual and it depended upon where the award was in that list, and that is not the case anymore. So this is very different.
And a big piece of that is also to help the most deserving team for a particular award win that award, rather than, well, this team was the best control, but they are gonna win think because it's more important. So the team that wins control is actually the team with the 4th best control. It allows the judges to really hone in on who is the most deserving for each individual award based on the criteria, and not really caring as much about the inter-ranking of the awards against each other. It now allows for just who fits the criteria the best for this award. They will win. Of course, share the love will still be in effect. You will only be winning a maximum of 1 award, but it allows us to really focus on who is the most deserving team for that award.
So let's go over the awards in depth. Obviously, the Inspire Award, again, is the highest ranked award. The team that receives this award is a strong ambassador for FIRST programs and a role model. This team is a top contender for many other judged awards and is a gracious competitor. The Inspire Award winner is an inspiration to other teams, acting with gracious professionalism both on and off the playing field. This team shares with their experiences, enthusiasm, and a knowledge with other teams, sponsors, their community, and the judges. Working as a unit, this team will have shown success in performing the task of designing and building a robot. To win the Inspire Award, you must submit a portfolio. You must have a nomination in MCI Awards, which Machine Creativity and Innovation Awards, Team Attribute Awards, and the Think Award. I will go back so you guys can see. So the TA are your Team Attribute Awards, which is Connect, Reach, and Sustain, and your MCI Awards are Design, Innovate, and Control. Teams must be positive and inclusive, and each team member contributes to the success of the team. A team is able to describe, demonstrate, document, and display their experiences and knowledge to the judges.
So you will notice that there's not a lot of specific criteria for this award. It's mostly, they must be strong contenders for multiple other awards. So this really comes down to, mostly all of the other awards, and then a little bit of, positive and inclusive, able to demonstrate, document, and display their experiences. But the large majority of this award is a strong contender for many other awards.
Which goes off of, being a role model for a FIRST team. To be that, you have to be well-rounded.
I'm also going to highlight for everyone that you'll notice too, as we go through these slides, you'll notice for Inspire, this list of required items. As we move through the other awards, you will see words like encouraged, not just required. And the reason that FIRST sets it up that way is so that there are things you can do as a team to demonstrate to the judges, but you might still be considered for an award even if you haven't done the encouraged things. And so, but in Inspire, it's all required.
Yeah, and the encouraged points are definitely there, especially when we have teams that are sitting neck and neck. We can go through the encouraged parts and see, well, this team hit all the encouraged stuff. So that puts them just one step above the team that they're neck and neck with. All right, so for the Inspire Award, we're going to give you tips on how to stand out. So for your structured interviews, it's important to come to your interviews prepared and rehearsed. All team members should speak and answer questions in a respectful manner. The portfolio should be professional in appearance. You should try to highlight all key requirements for each award. That is robot design, programming, outreach, fundraising, mentoring, collaboration, etc. You also want to be able to demonstrate and show proof of the information given to the judges. For your pit interviews, it's important that you're available and that you use this opportunity to give more details on what you believe makes your team stand out, what makes you guys unique. Especially when you have teams coming from the same school or same area. A lot of teams will do outreach events together. You want to highlight the things that make you different. And when you're on the field, your robot should showcase the information provided during the judging interviews. And you want to have collaboration with your teammates and sportsmanlike behavior to all field participants. I did make a note because we seem to come on this at least one event in the season that student team members, mentors, family members, and anyone that we can easily identify as someone with a team can influence the perspective a judge has on a team and whether or not you count as a positive role model for FIRST. This is not limited to the structured or pit interviews. We're walking around all day. You're being watched by multiple people. So how you behave in the stands, the practice fields, walking around, during breaks, all of that is being observed by the volunteers. Next is the Think Award. This judged award is given to the team that best reflects the journey the team took as they experienced their season. The content within the portfolio is the key reference for judges to help identify the most deserving team. The team could share or provide additional detailed information that is helpful to the judges. So the only required point is that a team must submit a portfolio, and that has to have evidence of use of the engineering design process, your lessons learned and implemented relating to the design of the robot, trade-off analysis, cost-benefit analysis, and or mathematical analysis used to make design decisions. For the encouraged criteria, your portfolio should include how the team learns from team mentors and or development plan for team members to learn new skills, how a team has recruited new people into FIRST, and how the team identified goals and track progression towards their goals throughout the season. And then your portfolios and information should be clear and intuitive in manner.
And sorry for not mentioning this earlier. This is an open book test. All of this comes from the game manual section 6. You can go and look at all yourself. You can read it, reread it again. You can print it out. You can have it, on the wall in your workspace. You are encouraged to look at these criteria and, attempt to form a plan for your team, for your portfolio, for your season, based on the criteria specifically for these awards. The judges will be judging based off of these criteria, and you know what the criteria are. So you can tell them exactly what they need to hear to give yourself the best chance for any and all awards.
Tell them and show them. All right, so the Connect Award. This judged award is given to the team that connects with their local science, technology, engineering, and math community to learn and adopt new tools through effort and persistence. This team has a plan and has identified steps to achieve their goals. A portfolio is not required for this award. So the requirements for this award is that a team must describe, display, or document a team plan that covers all of the following: the team's goals for the development of team members' skills, and the steps the team has taken or will take to reach those goals. You're encouraged to provide examples of developing in-person or virtual connections with individuals in engineering, science, and technology community, and provide examples of how you actively engage with the engineering community. So the Reach Award is one of the new awards replacing the Motivate Award. This award celebrates a team that has introduced and recruited new people into FIRST. Through their efforts, they have sparked others to embrace the FIRST culture. A portfolio is not required for this award. You have 2 requirements for this one. The team must discuss, describe, display, and document their outreach objectives and how their outreach activities support the FIRST community. Teams must discuss, describe, display, or document their successful recruitment of new teams, coaches, or mentors and volunteers who are not otherwise active within the FIRST community. You are encouraged to be an ambassador for FIRST programs in a way that makes FIRST loud, and have a creative and evolving approach to outreach materials that market their team and FIRST.
Just give it a second.
And the second award replacing the Motivate Award this year is the Sustain Award. Sustainability and planning are essential for our FIRST team because they ensure the program's long-term success. This award celebrates the team that has considered their future team members and has worked to ensure that their team or program will continue to exist long after they have gone on to develop their careers. A portfolio is not required for this award. Your requirements for the award: the team must discuss, describe, display, or document their plans, which include at least one of the following: finances and financial sustainability plan, season project planning, team sustainability plans and or objectives. And the team must discuss, describe, display, or document how a team tracks their progress towards their plans. You're encouraged to have clear team roles for all members of the team and a process for developing leadership, and can discuss, describe, display, or document how they manage the team's constraints and or risks. The Innovate Award. The Innovate Award celebrates a team that thinks imaginatively and has an ingenuity, creativity, and intuitiveness to make their designs come to life. This judged award is given to the team that has an innovative and creative robot design solution to any specific components in the FIRST Tech Challenge game. Elements of this award include design robustness and creative thinking related to the design. This award may address the design of the whole robot or of a mechanism attached to the robot and should work consistently during matches, but does not have to work all the time to be considered for the award. The portfolio is not required for this award. Your requirements for the award is that a team must describe, display, or document examples of the team's engineering content that illustrate how the team arrived at their design solution. A robot or robot mechanism is creative and or unique in its design, and the innovative element must be stable, robust, and contribute positively to a team's game objective most of the time. You're encouraged to have designs that come with risks, and teams should discuss, describe, display, and document how they mitigated that risk. The Design Award celebrates the team that demonstrates an understanding of industrial design principles by striking a balance between form, function, and aesthetics while meeting the needs of the season's challenge. The design process used should result in a robot which is efficiently designed and effectively addresses the game challenge. Portfolio is not required for this award. Teams are required to describe and demonstrate how the robot is elegant, efficient, simple or executable, and practical to maintain. The entire machine design or the detailed process used to develop the design is worthy of this recognition and not just a single component. And that's kind of what separates the design award from the Innovate award. You're encouraged to have a robot that distinguishes itself from others by its aesthetic and functional design. The basis for the design is well considered, and that its inspiration and functions and all that. Design is effective and consistent with the team's game plan and or strategy. The Control Award celebrates a team that uses sensors and software to increase the robot's functionality during gameplay. This award is given to the team that demonstrates innovative thinking and a solution to solve game challenges such as autonomous operation, improving mechanical systems with intelligent control, or using sensors to achieve better results. The solution or solutions should work consistently during matches, but does not have to work all the time. Solutions considered for this award are not solely limited to the autonomous period of the match and may also be used during teleop. The team's portfolio must contain a summary of the software, sensors, and mechanical control, but would not include copies of the code itself. So this is one of the awards that requires you to have a portfolio. And in that portfolio, it should have hardware and or software control components on the robot, what challenges each component or system is intended to solve, and how each component or system works. And teams must use one or more hardware or software solutions to improve robot functionality by using external feedback and control. You're encouraged to the control solution should work consistently during most matches. Teams could discuss, describe, display, or document how the solution may consider reliability, either through demonstrative effectiveness or identification of how the solution could be improved. And your use of the engineering design process to develop the control solutions, it's just sensors, hardware, and or algorithms used on the robot, including the lessons learned. And the Judge's Choice Award. This award is optional and does not have to be given at events. This award is an award that's given by the judging panel who meets a team whose unique efforts and performance or dynamics merit recognition, but they do not fit into any of the other award categories. So to recognize those unique teams, FIRST offers a Judge Choice Award. This is typically a good point judges use to recognize teams that have like exceptional demonstrations of things like gracious professionalism. Now, other awards you may come upon this season, the Dean's List Award. I believe submissions for that have already been done. Those are students who earn the first Dean's List as a semi-finalist, finalist, or winner are great examples of current student leaders who have led their teams and communities to increased awareness for FIRST and its mission. The Compass Award, which is optional, it gives recognition to an adult coach or mentor who has given outstanding guidance and support to a team through the year and demonstrates to the team what it means to be gracious professional. This is a video submission that is only offered at the regional championship. And then there's some project-based global awards like the Digital Animation Award and the Safety Animation Award.
And it's worth noting, everybody, that with these other awards, these awards have no impact on awards you may receive via judging at an event. So these are all like extra other things you could potentially do or nominate a student for that you would have recognition and feel pride and feel great about. And we encourage you to do that, but it will have no bearing on day of judged awards during an event. Very important to know that.
So for some notes for your season, teams are only eligible to win the Inspire Award in their own region. Teams cannot win the Inspire Award at multiple qualifying or league tournaments. Teams can only get one judged award. Teams are only eligible to win or be a runner-up for a single judged award at the event. This allows us to spread the wealth. And again, the awards that require a portfolio are the Inspire Award, Think Award, and the Control Award. Any questions? Please ask questions.
you can drop your questions in chat if you don't want to say it out loud. Or you can just talk. We like talking.
Hey, I have a question, if you can hear me.
Yes.
Regarding the new rule, you can only win one award. Does that also account for, is that also true for Inspire? So like, can you win, it used to be that you could win like second place for other things, for like one other thing, and also get Inspire. Is that still true? Or is it the case that if you did any of the 3 Inspires, you will also not receive any of the other awards? Over.
That is definitely my interpretation of what we were given this year. That is strictly one award or nomination for a team per event.
Okay, thank you.
Which is reflected in the advancement criteria that getting first, second, or third in Inspire is higher value than any other individual award.
Team 4924, your hand's raised. You can please ask your question.
Hi. I've been a judge before, and I just wanted to talk about portfolios. So you hand your portfolio in to the judges, and they're gonna look at it. From what I understand, please feel free to jump in and correct me. They might look at it during your presentation, unless you're like actively. No, not during the presentation.
No.
After you leave the room, right?
Correct.
And then the judges that you have in the morning hand that portfolio off to a big stack. Yes?
Yes.
And then the Think Award and the Control Award judges look at portfolios. Yes?
All
Yes.
judges will look at portfolios.
All
Judges look at portfolios from that stack. Okay, that's what I was wondering about. Thank you.
Yeah, your Think Award and your Control Award are going to be required. They have no choice but to look at those portfolios. But the portfolios will be helpful when it comes to judges looking for information and deciding winners for other awards.
Very helpful. Thank you.
Mhm. More questions, guys.
I think you mentioned something about a digital submission of the portfolio. How do judges handle that?
Oh, yeah, we're not doing digital submission.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Sorry,
I've
Thank
never
you.
had to touch a digital submission.
we have the option as a partner to potentially accept a digital submission, but we will not be doing that in Chesapeake. You will all need to come to your event and bring a portfolio that is printed to share with judges real time day of in order for it to be utilized. Great question. There's a question from Kelly Bird here, 23247. If a judge comes for a pit interview and the team specialist for that particular award are elsewhere, can the students at the pit recommend the judges come back at a different time so the specialist can answer the judge's question?
Short answer is yes. Now I'm going to answer as someone who's been on both sides of this. It will look much better on you as a team if everyone is able to answer questions. It is normal to have a specialist, yes, but if your teammates are able to answer questions on your behalf, that looks way better.
So, Cheyenne,
Yes,
someone is asking for us to go back one slide.
back one slide.
Yeah. So to the, I think, yeah, this one, the award notes. Ben, do you have a question regarding this slide? I'm just going down the list for us. Maybe you're taking a picture. That's cool too. Everyone remember, the recording and this deck will be available through our resource hub. Everyone can have access to it. Even if you didn't come tonight, everyone gets access to it. It's not proprietary. It's not secret. We're not trying to keep it only in this little network. Everybody gets it. Next question. This is first time for me. The robot game points. So the question is, how does robot game influence or contribute to judged awards?
It does not
It does-
directly. Yes, we don't necessarily care. Well, no, we do not care if you win or lose, We care how you play, what your robot can and can't do. If we're looking at the control award and you say we have a sensor that allows us to do X, Y, and Z, and we watch 3 of your matches and you do not do X, Y, or Z in any of those matches, that's gonna, lose you some points for, that particular award. But in general, no, we do not care about, whether or not you are winning or losing. We care about the individual pieces of your robot and how they perform, what your strategy is. We might ask you questions about your strategy or about different design decisions that you made, but whether or not you win or lose does not directly influence your ability to win any of the judged awards.
But how you win or lose, they will also be watching.
That's true.
Yes, robots and humans, we will be
Yes.
watching.
And, depending on the amount of volunteers we have for an event, we may have specific judges set to just watch matches. So that gives you a greater chance of saying, okay, well, I screwed up these 2 matches, but I had 4 other matches where I did great. Now, we don't always have that option, but when we do, it's very helpful.
And that is dependent on total amount of judges that we have for the purpose of moving through this process. So when we're begging the community to send us volunteers to be judges at our events, if we have 12 judges, we will not have match observing judges. If we have 16 judges, we might. So the more people we have who are willing to come out and volunteer, the more likely we can have a more robust experience. I want to make sure we're getting to some of these other questions. So a questions that's asked is around the portfolio. And so the question is it just one portfolio, and does that cover everything, or should they be thinking about the portfolios like separate entities? And
One.
Yeah, it's one portfolio. The portfolio can have 15 pages plus a cover page. And in that portfolio, you choose the information that's going to go in there. And that information will show judges or demonstrate to judges which awards you might be considered for judged awards. All the information around the portfolio is inside the competition manual. And so we highly recommend that you jump in there and take a look at that.
And I will say, I want you to think of your portfolios as like the silent voice of your team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if judges are having a hard time getting to you and getting more information, they may go straight to the portfolio to look for this information and then come back to try and find you to fact check that information. So you want to be able to provide as much information in your portfolio without blowing the criteria.
The next question is, so there is no stratification among the awards other than for Inspire. And so will you just pop back to the slide that has that list? It's like, I think it's at the start, sorry. Just keep on trucking. There you go.
Oh, there. This one? Or
no,
The advancement one, I think.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah. So your interpretation, Kathy, is correct. And so all first place winners of awards outside of the Inspire for second, third are ranked the same across the board. So in last year, that was not the case. This year, that is the case. So a Judge's Choice Award is equal to a Sustain Award, equal to a Connect Award in terms of rank points. They do not have a hierarchy in value anymore. That is a big change from last year to this year by FIRST. Let's see. Dave made a point in the chat, and I think this was back to the pit interview question that Cheyenne answered, this idea that if we don't have enough judges and judges don't have enough time to revisit a pit, then there is a state of the world where if you say, oh, wait for our specialist, come back, that they run out of time and they can't come back because we are in a time constraint during a competition. So to the point being made by Dave and Cheyenne and others is that it's better to have people who can talk to all aspects of everything in your pit than be dependent on only certain people for certain types of information. I don't know that I can answer this question, so I hope Laurence and Cheyenne can. The question is, does Inspire Award restrictions apply to first, second, and third place? Does that restriction apply if a team does not advance at their first qualifier?
So if, I'm assuming that the question is that if you get the Inspire Award at the qualifier, but you...
Yeah, that was my question. Maybe I can explain it a bit better. So if we can go to the previous, or the last slide before the questions. So I was just wondering if we could explain that second bullet point a little further. So,
okay, so yeah, that one's simple. So the list that I provided at the beginning with all the qualifying tournaments, if you attend multiple of these, you can only win the Inspire Award at one. That's it.
Does that mean if a team wins like second place, they could win second place, or they could win first place at a different qualifier?
Yes.
Okay. And if it seems like it's possible for a team to win Inspire and not advance, does that mean they could not win Inspire first place at a different qualifier?
Weird. That seems like a trick question.
Yeah. All right. I wasn't trying to put you on the spot.
It should be almost impossible for them to
Yes.
win Inspire and not advance.
Okay.
It's so
but
high
I
with
definitely,
the points.
Right. Okay, that's cool. I definitely agree with the share the love philosophy. I just want to make sure I understood that bullet point. So thank you for the answer.
Yeah, so you can win it at a qualifying tournament, and then when you get to champs, you're eligible all over again.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Jeff asked, some teams sometimes bring handouts in addition to their portfolios. Can the judges take and consider?
Not this year. You can show them to them in the pits. They can read them there, but nothing is coming back to the judge's room.
Except for the portfolio.
Correct.
Is the Judge's Choice Award worth points? Yes, it is equal in value to all the other judged awards outside of the Inspire Award. It is worth 12 rank points.
And that one is, it really is a tricky award for judges, because the key thing of that award is that the criteria is that you cannot have a reason for giving it that qualifies for another award. So we can't say, well, you know, that robot did a little bit of something right there that was really cool. Well, that would be a design or an Innovate award. So that one's a little tight when it comes to awarding, which is why sometimes you see that judges just won't give it at all.
We will be giving it. We ordered it.
That sounds like
You're
a threat.
welcome, Judge Advisor. All right, we have two teams with hands raised. So team 519, go ahead and ask your question.
Right. So historically, the judges have a tough time figuring out, Inspire, Think, all that in the past. But now there's categories where you may not be giving all three awards in that same grouping down to like first, second, or third place for like the Connect, that category, the design, and say the Control Award and whatnot. How are we expecting the judges, like suppose there's a team that's an ace for Control and there's another one for design, how do you decide which one of those might only get if there's not enough participating robots at the competition? Because when you look at it, you can see that it may only be like one from that category. I'm just wondering how the judges are expecting this year to deal with choosing which one. Like, we won't know ahead of time which one of those awards is going to be given, correct? If you look at the list,
it's two answers.
Okay, go, Laurence.
Yeah, it's two answers. The simple answer is, I think all of the tournaments that we have scheduled are going to have more than 20 teams. That's just like this is probably not a problem that we have to worry about.
But it said those that show up, we have habits of like, snowstorms and things like that. Right.
Yeah. So the second answer is, just because we don't give that award does not mean that award is not considered as part of Inspire. So we would rank the teams for all of the awards no matter what, and use that information to determine the teams that are eligible to win Inspire, and then use that information to determine who's going to be the Inspire winners. whether or not those awards will actually be awarded based on the number of teams at the tournament. So the criteria for Inspire is essentially the criteria for all the other awards combined. Whether or not those awards are specifically given at that tournament does not impact whether their criteria is taken into consideration for the criteria for Inspire.
And to like basically simplify what we're doing, judges after the structured interviews are required to come back to the room and nominate at least 2 teams per award. So even if that award isn't given, we are going based off this list that, okay, this team was nominated for an award in the MCI and your team attributes.
Fair enough. I mean,
Question,
it's
Dave?
a tough process.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so next one looks like Howard Dynamics, David Wu.
Hi, yeah, I'm Dave from Howard Dynamics, and I was wondering for like the Dean's List Award and the Compass Award, can we go back to that slide? Yeah, so I was like wondering if you could like elaborate on like if they count as rating points or not, and
No, they
also,
do not.
oh, they don't, okay,
They do
and
not.
okay, yeah, thank you. That was just my question.
Awesome. That was an easy one. Team 4991.
All right, hi. This is actually kind of a 2-part question, or 2 questions. If you're eligible for 2 different awards, and could you place like 3rd for one and 2nd for the other?
Nah, no. The goal is to give as many teams as recognition as possible. So we are going to avoid, especially when we have events with a lot of teams, that a team should only be mentioned once during the award ceremonies.
And so, I think the reason this question is being asked, and I think this is important to say to the whole group, for those of you who have been around for a long time, and you've been to competitions in the past where it was like you heard so and so win 2nd, and then they won 3rd for another one, and then they won 2nd for another one over here. By the end, you knew or had an idea of who was likely getting Inspire because of all their 2nd and 3rds for these other awards, because all those awards sort of bubbled up to the Inspire Award. Now, FIRST's goal is to ensure that as many teams are able to be recognized and given awards for the great work they're doing. And for that reason, that will no longer be the case. So as 1 award per event per team.
And the second question that I have is, you mentioned if you were to attend multiple qualifiers, would there be a reason to do that beyond just wanting to?
No. It's good practice for some teams. Some teams use that opportunity to increase their chances to advancement for champs. I mean, you don't have
It's what
to.
you're paid for.
Yeah. So you don't have to, but you can.
And so the fee that you pay when you register to compete gives you 2 events. You're encouraged to go to both because what you learn at one helps you iterate for the next one. And it's important for the community to understand, we as an organization, when we're planning those events, we're planning for the people who say they're coming. And so if you're supposed to be there and you don't attend, it does impact everyone else who is planning to be there. And so we encourage all teams to show up. Even if you're not where you were hoping you'd be, we still want you to be there because there's so much fun to be had and so much to learn by just being present.
And even if you don't feel like you're ready to attend, you'd be surprised how many teams out there are ready and willing to support you to get you to the point where you can be on the field with them.
All right. Well, thank you guys.
You're welcome. All right. I think we have time for just a couple more. So Alvin writes, nominated doesn't mean, sorry, my little thing's in the way. Sorry, hold on. I got you.
Yeah, this was in
Nominated
reference to the Inspire,
Oh, gotcha.
need to
Okay.
be nominated for a TA and MCI. Right. So that does not just mean the top three places. Nominated simply means based on the morning interview and a quick look over of your portfolio, we think that you meet at least the required criteria for this award, and we'll put you on the list for that specific award panel's judges to go and talk to you in the pits, watch your matches, read your portfolio in more depth, etc., to determine, whether or not you can eventually land in one of those top three places. But yes, most of the time, more than three teams will be nominated for every award. In fact, I would go to say that 100% of the time, more than three teams will be nominated for each award.
If you go 2 teams per award per judging panel, you've got a minimum 12 teams getting nominated for awards.
The next question is, how large is the judging room and will it fit the max team size? So couple of things on that. Generally, a judging room is the standard size of a classroom. At our events this season, that should be the case for all qualifiers. They should be standard classrooms available to you for judging. The maximum amount of students who enter that room, so to be clear, I don't like saying this out loud, there is no maximum amount on teams anymore. That was taken away a year ago. However, we plan our events on 15 students in the room. So if you're sending 15 kids to the room, then keep in mind that you don't want 5 of them doing all the talking and 10 of them just standing there doing nothing. The people that go into that room need to have an active role in being there, because that's what the judges are looking for. They want to talk to the team and understand what that team is doing and what you've done over the course of the season. So the short answer is yes, a classroom should fit 15 students and a silent observer, along with the 2 judges. Is advancement points shown and updated on the ranking board throughout the competition? Yes.
Well, not during the competition, because that would require us to tell you.
Not for judged awards, but for the robot
Right.
performance.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, so for robot performance, you'd be able to extrapolate it based on your current rankings, but of course, like, the points are for winning the whole thing, right? So we wouldn't know who's going to win just based on who's ranked number 1 in the qualifiers.
Right.
I would assume, after award ceremonies, they're going to let you know.
Yeah, it's usually the final act of the award ceremony is, we announce who wins Inspire, and then we announce who advances based on the judged awards and the robot tournament.
And it's all in the closing ceremony. This answers another question. That's all in the closing ceremony. And that is also not only announced, but generally on the screen as well. And so it's another reason why we want teams to stay for the entire event all the way through the closing ceremony, because we will not be shipping awards to anyone this year. If you are not present to win your award, you have missed your award. Just so everybody knows. So stay. It's awesome. All right. We are at 8:01. So I'm going to stop the recording now.